So you're feeling really frustrated with your dating life. And you've heard that there's a worldwide community of guys out there who teach various ways to become more successful with women. But is that really effective? And is it really so simple to get the results they promise? Well, for the last 10 years, I've been running the School of Attraction, my own dating coaching company. And as you can imagine, I've coached men from all walks of life. Now, I know it's really easy for dating coaching companies to say, hey, pay us $10,000 and in one weekend we'll turn you into James Bond. But I'm sure most of you watching realize most things worth having in life just aren't so easy to get. Today, I want to share with you some brutal truths about learned attraction. These are things that I think every man needs to know before he embarks on this journey. Keep watching and I'll share it all with you now. So the simple answer is yes. Almost any guy can learn to become really successful with women. But unfortunately, while this is a true statement, it leaves out some really important facts. Facts that I think most dating coaches would really rather most guys didn't know. So here's the brutal truth. The brutal truth is that for the majority of guys, learning to become successful with women will both be a more difficult journey and a much longer journey than you've probably been led to believe. You see, to understand why this is, you need to understand that to be successful with women, there's three layers that are required. At the very top, if you think of this like a pyramid, at the very top, you've got your dating skills. So these are things like how to approach a girl, how to ask for a number, how to organize a good date, how to sexually escalate, how to create a casual sex relationship, this kind of stuff. And that sits at the very top of the pyramid. It sits at the top because it's supported by two other layers that are way more important. So below those dating skills are your social skills. So these are things like, how good are you at reading people's body language? How good are you at reading social context? How are you at teasing and banter? How are you at building rapport with people? How good are you at small talk and creating engaging conversation with people you've just met? These are skills that you would use everywhere, not just with women. And that's those set of skills are resting on top of a further layer, which is what I call your dark passenger. And yes, I'm a Dexter fan, and that's why I call it your dark passenger. But your dark passenger is all of the crap, all of the stuff, the limiting beliefs, the emotional turmoil, our emotional baggage, the stuff that holds us back, the things that often go from childhood, the beliefs we have about ourselves as men, the beliefs we have about sex, the beliefs we have about women and the way women see us. All those things form your dark passenger. And if your dark passenger or your social skills or both aren't up to snuff, it doesn't matter what dating skills you learn, you're never going to be able to they're never going to work. It's never going to pan out. You know, I don't know if you've ever had the experience where you learn something really great, you read something in a book or you watch a really great video learning a dating skill, and you go to apply it, but when you go to apply it, it just doesn't work. The whole thing falls apart. It turns out nothing like what you pictured in your head. And this is because those bottom two layers just aren't sort of organized or sorted enough. You see, dating skills are really, really easy to learn. If you come and you've already got the bottom two levels already sorted and all you got to learn is dating skills, you can learn that stuff in like a weekend. Although I doubt you'd remember it all because humans can't really cram that effectively, so we can learn it in a weekend, but we can also forget it in a week. Keep that in mind. But yeah, that's the really easy stuff to learn. And most dating coaches, they do acknowledge that. They say, well, you got to learn that, but you've also got to learn your social skills. But what nobody ever tells you is that your social skills, if they're not already kind of decent or average, they take some serious time to learn. So think of this. Think about learning teasing and banter. Okay, one of the many really critical social skills that you need to learn. To learn how to tease someone is not just follow these lines, repeat this stuff by rote. It's learning how to read her. Is it the right time to tease? Is it the right time to banter? It's knowing how to read a situation and find something funny in it. It's knowing how to think on your feet. It's knowing how to, what is a tease and what is an insult, because it's a very fine line. Think of a tease, let's say something standard. That's okay, nobody's perfect. How is that a tease? Well, imagine I'm talking to a girl and it turns out she goes to a really snooty university. Then I can say to her, oh, that's okay. No one's perfect. I'm sure there's good things about you as well. That's a tease, right? But you need to know the difference between using that tease if she goes to a snooty university and sounding like you're having fun, and using that tease, what if she goes to like community college? And you say, oh, that's okay. No one's perfect. I'm sure there's something good about you anyway. That's an insult. And it's knowing those tiny little differences when you tease that make all the difference. Now, I can't teach you that. I can teach you how to learn that, but the only way to get good at it is practice. And by practice, I mean daily practice. You see, most guys try to learn something like teasing or rapport building or small talk, and they just practice it once a week on the weekend and expect that that's going to make some kind of massive difference. Well, it won't. You need to be practicing these social skills every single day. Like seriously, practice banter and teasing with people, anyone, not just women, every day for 2 weeks, and you'll start to get quite good at it, right? But that's 2 weeks of just focused on teasing and banter. Then you've got to deal with small talk, and you've got to deal with rapport and a whole bunch of other social calibration skill sets to be learned. So yeah, these things take time, usually months. If you're sort of already a bit average in your social skills, give yourself a month to learn these, month and a half. If you're sort of really struggling, it's going to take many months to learn this skill set. Then you've got your dark passenger stuff. Now, when it comes to dark passenger stuff, I'll say this: we're all fucked up. We're all messed up. I've got issues. You've got issues. Your dad's got issues. Your mom's got issues. Your brother's got issues. We all do. But some of us have issues that have a more detrimental effect in our personal lives than others. And some of us have worked hard to manage and mitigate our dark passenger and learn to understand it and embrace it and work with it rather than against it and not have it control our lives. This is a life skill. This is something that everybody needs to work through if they want to have a better quality life. But working with your dark passenger takes time. And you can't escape that. You can't learn pickup without dealing with your crap. You're going to have to do it. It's inescapable. And that journey, depending on where you are, depending on how developed that part of you is and how much it's holding you back, that can take a long, long time. And so I say to guys, for most men, it's going to be a frustrating, difficult journey, and it's going to take time. How long? How long is it going to take you? Well, think of it this way. If I get a student who's Joe Average, he isn't super social. He's had a couple of girlfriends before. He's never been super successful, but he's done okay. He's a bit scared of approaching a random woman in a bar. But, when he's out with mates, he can talk to his mates. He's got those basic social skills there. This guy, if he comes to me, I would expect that in sort of about 2 months, he's going to be doing really well with women. That's if he comes to me and works with me as a professional, because he's already pretty average. He's got sort of baseline stuff there. He needs to sharpen his social skills, deal with a little bit of dark passenger, and really master those dating skills, and he's going to kill it in just a few months. If he's working on his own, maybe it's going to take him about 8 months if he persists, and most guys don't persist through because it's still a hard journey, but it's going to take about 8 months. Unfortunately, there are also a lot of guys who are below average. They've got a lot of really heavy emotional stuff holding them back. They've had troubled childhoods. They've had, emotional things go wrong. Maybe they've had health issues get in the way. And then as a result, they haven't learned the social skills they needed to learn growing up. So, the dark passenger has prevented them from getting the social skills growing up. And so they don't have the social skills or the dark passenger. Most of these guys have never had a girlfriend. They feel a deep sense of loneliness. And honestly, when I get emails from these guys, it breaks my heart. It really does, because life can be tough when you're in that position. And it's no one's fault. It's certainly not your fault. There's nothing you've done wrong that's gotten you here, but you can change it. But you need to understand that change will take time. If I take a man on in that position, I fully expect he's not, in 3 months, the time frame I usually work with guys as a coach, he's not going to be slaying it. He's not going to be James Bond. A guy like that is going to come to me with very low social skills, never approached a girl, probably never had a girlfriend in his mid-20s or 30s, never had a girlfriend. And just in that position, a man like that has to expect that even with a coach, even with myself, done this for a long time, I'm very good at what I do. In 3 months, what the best that you can expect is probably to be at a point where you are approaching women, you're getting in there, you're able to engage with them and actually have interesting conversations and tease and banter a little bit and build some rapport. You'll be getting some numbers and you'll be starting to go on dates. Okay. As far as results with women, that's all you can accomplish in 3 months, even with a talented coach. But the difference is your self-esteem is dramatically improved. To get from where you are now, from that level, to the level where you can talk to women, you can get out, you can get some dates, that's a dramatic change. I've never known a guy to do that on his own without help. And without help, I don't mean you have to hire me. Without help, I mean like a group of really dedicated friends helping him sort of get out of his social hole, right? Working with a therapist to try to deal with his dark passenger stuff, right? Some sort of professional help. And that I really do say genuinely, because this, for most men, this journey to become more successful with women, it isn't really about women. And I think that's why a lot of men drop out. They lose sight of that fact. The journey to become amazing with women is something every man should go on. And it's not about the women, because it's learning to connect with people. It's learning to have fun. It's learning to have a much higher self-esteem and have your self-esteem not hooked on women, but have your self-esteem really intrinsically sort of built up. Your work life will be better. Your social life will be better. Your happiness levels will be better. Your general life satisfaction will be better. This is an area of life that deserves a lot of time and attention. You just can't expect it to change overnight. Now, one thing I want to say before I end this video is I just want to mention about how to work on dark passenger, because we've all got it and we all need to work on it. My advice, avoid almost pretty much every pickup book ever written. My best advice is start doing a little bit of reading on something called schema therapy. Schema therapy will take a really deep dive into your explanatory styles, into the way you handle rejection, the way you deal with failure. It explores where a lot of your internal self-harm dialogue comes from, and a lot of your maladaptive beliefs and maladaptive coping mechanisms that you've evolved likely since childhood, because that's where your dark passenger lies. And schema therapy is really a blend of other therapies that are fantastic for this kind of work. Do a bit of reading there. It will help you immensely. So guys, have you been on your journey? Have you started your journey already? Are you just about to start? Where are you at? How are you feeling about it? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm Damien Deeker, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos.